Hi everyone. Welcome to day 4 of the Move and Write series. Our theme today is surrender. So physically means we're going to be doing a lot of slower movements, a lot of stretching, a lot of just surrendering our body and certain parts of our body to the earth, surrendering to gravity. I don't know about you, my body really needs this today, so I'm really looking forward to it. And then I'll give you your journaling prompt at the end of our practice. So this will be a little more restorative style without props, but it's going to feel really, really good. I'm really excited about it. A couple things as always, use me as your guide, follow your body, follow your voice, follow your heart, do what feels best for you. Also, please feel free to play music. I encourage it. Pick something that feels good to you right now. So we're going to start in the ultimate surrendering pose. We're going to start in child's pose. So coming onto the hands and knees. And you've got a couple options of child's pose here. You can take a little more hip opening child's pose by bringing your knees out a little bit wider, or you can have them right next to each other, just whatever feels good for you today. Slowly start to lower the hips back to meet the heels, yearning for the heels. They don't have to touch. And either stretching the arms out in front of you if the knees are wide, or if the knees are together, you can always bring them alongside of your body as well. Once again, just finding the shape that feels best for you today. And really releasing the weight, releasing everything you've been carrying. Just falling into the ground beneath you right here. Taking deep breaths. Feeling your back really expand with every inhale. And then feeling that space give way to the earth as you exhale. If you have your hands out in front of you, maybe you try on your inhales, really pushing the hands into the ground, pushing the body away from the hands on your inhale. And then once again, surrendering, giving in on the exhale to that space you just created. Not forcing it all here. Many of these postures are going to be about releasing, letting go, surrendering, not holding, not forcing. Focusing on the breath to help keep the mind in the moment. Almost like the mind is surrendering to the breath. Just kind of having a visual of the mind riding the breath, going along with the breath's journey. Slowly start to walk your hands over to the right, staying in this pose. So keeping the hips back on the heels, just walking both hands over to the right side of your mat
Maybe that left arm crawls on top of the right for a left side body stretch. It's really feeling and creating space along the left side of the body. And one more breath here. And on your exhale, start to walk to the left side of your mat. So staying in this child's pose position, just walking the hands over to the left. Maybe that right hand comes on top of the left hand and creating space in the right side body. One more breath here. On your next exhale, walk the hands back to center. Slowly, slowly start to come sit up.
And come onto the hands and knees into a tabletop position. Reach that right arm up towards the ceiling, twist towards your right, and thread that right arm underneath the left, bringing that right shoulder to the ground, stretching the left arm straight out in front of you, threading the needle here. And once again, surrendering into this posture. What can you let go of here? Maybe it's letting go of expectation, letting go of what you think this pose should look like. Letting go of a conversation you had earlier, maybe something that you think you should be doing right now. Taking one more breath in this posture. And start to come back to center. Maybe raising that right arm up towards the sky once again, just to stretch it back out in the other direction. And coming back to tabletop position. We'll take that same posture now on the left side. So lifting that left arm up towards the sky and threading the needle underneath the right arm, placing the left shoulder on the ground, the left ear on the ground, and stretching that right arm out overhead. Surrendering to the stillness within. And there's nowhere to go. Nothing to do, nowhere to be except right here. Begin to come back into a tabletop position. Maybe stretching that left arm up towards the ceiling once again. And bringing both hands back down to the mat. Walk your hands out in front of you a little bit. Slowly start to straighten the legs to come into downward facing dog. Really taking your time getting into this pose. Being generous in a bend in the knees. Just the action of yearning the heels towards the ground is enough. And just melting, surrendering that heart towards the earth. Slowly begin to walk the hands back to meet the feet, the back of your mat. And standing in a forward fold here, take your peace fingers and grab the big toes. Maybe bending the knees a lot here, feeling into the hamstrings, and then just releasing the upper body. We hold so much in our neck and our shoulders, our upper back. Letting that all go here as the elbows splay out to the side. Gravity decompresses the spine. Maybe even taking a couple rolls or shakes with the head. Release the toes. Slowly start to roll up, very consciously, feeling each part of your body stack on top of itself. Feeling the alignment as you come into standing mountain pose at the back of your mat. Taking this moment right now to set an intention for the rest of this practice. An intention can be a word, a phrase, something that brings you back to the present moment when the mind starts to drift. Something you're looking to embody in this next 20 minutes and off the mat. With that intention in mind, take a big inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward over your legs. Inhaling up to a flat back. Exhale, placing the hands on your mat and walking the hands out into a plank position. Immediately put your knees down. Lower all the way to the belly. And pause here for a moment. Taking one breath with the belly on the mat. On your next breath in, coming up for a baby cobra pose. And on your breath out, exhaling into a tabletop, into downward facing dog. So slowly moving into our sun salutation today. Surrendering to the slowness, the stillness, seeing the beauty, and taking time. Staying conscious. Not just moving through these movements like we're so used to doing, but really slowing down, feeling into them, surrendering into them, letting them be. On your next breath out, walk, jump, or step the feet up in between the hands. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhaling back down. Rooting to rise, inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale your hands to heart center, coming back to that intention that we just set. Inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale, folding forward over the legs. Inhale up to a flat back. Exhale, hands to the mat, stepping back into plank. Placing the knees down, lowering to the belly. Slowly inhaling up to a baby cobra. And on the exhale, tabletop position, all the way back to downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift your right leg up towards the sky. Pause for a moment. Swing it up in between the hands, placing the back knee down for a low crescent lunge. So keeping the hands to frame that front foot here, really leading with the chest. Just feel what you experience in this shape. You're probably experiencing your left hip yearning for the ground, surrendering to the earth as the right hip pulls back. Maybe you bring the hands up to the knee. Giving you more space to surrender that left hip. And being conscious of coming up a little bit on your inhale and sinking down, surrendering even more on your exhale. On your next breath in, place your left hand on the inside of that right foot and come in for a low lunge twist, twisting towards the right, keeping that back knee down, lifting the right arm up towards the sky. Once again, creating more room for you to surrender. What does it feel like to let go? Bringing that right hand to the inside of your front foot, maybe moving that front foot out so both your hands can fit up there. See if you can come down to the elbows here and maybe even roll on the knife edge of that front foot to get into the outer right hip. At the same time, still feeling this large stretch in our left front hip. Moving into this movement, surrendering into this position. Feeling the release in both hips. Coming back up onto the hands. Lifting the back knee off the ground, slowly start to turn your toes to face the long edge of your mat. Coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Just surrendering the whole top half of your body towards the floor. Feeling how that feels in the spine. And taking whatever movements feel good here. Staying mindful, moving slowly, being very conscious of every little sensation. Start to turn towards the back of your mat. So turning that left toe to the back side and coming into a low lunge here. So placing that back knee down, your right knee down. And just like we did on the other side, start with keeping the hands on the ground, leading with the chest, creating space in that front right hip. Really using the breath to make space here. If you can, bring the hands up to your knee. Kind of go through a little breathing motion here. So a little straightening up a little bit on your inhale, and on your exhale, surrendering that hip towards the earth. The inhale creates the space, and the exhale moves into the space. Place that right hand on the inside of the front foot as you come into a low crescent lunge twist, lifting that left arm up towards the sky. Bring that left hand down inside your right foot or your front foot. So moving that front foot over to the little bit. Make room for both hands. See if you can come down to the elbows here and turn out a little bit on the knife edge of that front foot. So you start to feel a stretch in that outer left hip, as well as still feeling the surrender and the stretch in the hip of the knee that's on the ground. Coming back onto the hands. Step your back foot to the back of your mat to meet the right foot in a plank pose. Placing those knees down and coming onto your belly. Inhaling up for a baby cobra here. And exhale back into child's pose.
Pausing here. Maybe reconnecting to that intention you said at the beginning of our practice. Begin to walk the hands back and come up, sitting on your heels, facing the back of your mat.
Come to sit onto your butt. Place the right leg out in front of you and bring the left heel into the groin. We're going into a hamstring stretch here. So inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. Exhale, leading with the chest to fold over that right foot, letting the hands fall wherever they may. Once again, you can kind of create a little surrendering breath flow here, letting the body come up a little bit as you inhale, and then letting go and falling forward into the space as you exhale. In addition to your hamstring, you might feel the stretch in your lower back as well. Slowly start to come up and switch sides. So left leg out, pulling the right heel in. And a big inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. And exhale, letting them fall wherever they land. Leading with the heart as we let go into this position. Just noticing how good it feels to create space in the body and to just fall, let go into that space, knowing that this resides inside of us at all times. There is ease within. It doesn't always have to be so hard, so tight, so suffocating. Consciously taking the time to create space and release into it. It's a constant practice, on and off the mat. Slowly come back to a comfortable, or to a seat. Stretch both feet out in front of you this time. Inhale, lifting those arms up overhead, flexing the feet, and folding forward towards the toes. Reaching the toes is not what's important here. What is important is the creation of space and the surrendering to that space. One more breath here. Slowly roll back up. Let's turn to face the front of our mats. So just doing a little booty turn here. And keeping your feet on the ground, slowly start to roll onto your back. Bring the knees in. Keep your feet on the ground, maybe about the width of your mat. Knock your knees in together, releasing the low back. Pausing for a moment. Letting the back be supported, sinking into the ground. Knowing that we are always supported. Lift both feet up off the ground and grab the outside of your feet with your hands for happy baby. So this is a release on the outer hips. We have a couple options here. You can rock back and forth. Or maybe you straighten one leg and bend the other in, just kind of alternating in that motion. Maybe you just stay still, like this. If you're having trouble grabbing the outside of your feet, you can always grab the inside or grab your big toe, wherever's comfortable and works for you today. Whatever allows you to surrender into this pose. Release happy baby. Bring the soles of the feet together onto your mat and open the knees out into Supta Baddha Konasana. So soles of the feet together and the knees are falling open like a book. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Feel the space being created in the inner hips. Coming back to your intention and breathing. Take the hands on the outside of the legs. Slowly bring them together like you're closing a book. Squeeze your knees into your chest for one last time before finally fully letting go. Letting the body fall open, splay out into corpse pose, Shavasana. Letting everything go. Slowly start to awaken your physical body, staying mindful, staying present, creating small movements to awaken the body, moving the wrists and the ankles, rocking the hips back and forth, moving the neck. Slowly roll over onto your right side, pausing in a fetal position, acknowledging the transformation. Slowly push yourself up, keeping the eyes closed or the eyes down, coming back to a comfortable seated position on your mat. Feeling the feeling of spaciousness, of lightness after letting go, surrendering. Noticing all the space that's freed up for you to connect to yourself even deeper. Bring the hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Thanking yourself for showing up for you today. I truly, truly admire you, every single one of you, and want you to know that the light and the dark in me truly sees, loves, and honors the light and the dark inside each and every one of you. Namaste. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. It was a treat. It was a treat for me. I hope it was a treat for you. Your journaling prompt following this flow is, today I am letting go of. Today I'm letting go of. So I'm excited to hear what that is for you, to experience what that is for you, and for you to feel a little bit lighter. Thank you. Love y'all. See you next time. Kona, come here. Kona, come here. Kona, come here. Kona, come here. Come here. Yes. Kona, come here. No.